This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Monday, October the 28th, 2024. So glad you could join us here today. Coming up a little later on in the program, we'll talk with Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net and find out what happened in the markets today. But first, Andy Peterson brings us a preview of the latest episode of Pods of Potential with the Iowa Soybean Association. Andy?
All right, Mark, episode 13 focuses here on the Research Center for Farming Innovations, data and insights as far as no-till, strip-till cropping systems, reducing tillage, and some of the benefits with all of that with conservation agronomist Ryan Johnson and O'Brien County farmer Corey Vanderplug. Guys, thanks for being here. First of all, Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've got a row crop operation as well. And how did you come to Iowa Soybean in the role of conservation agronomist?
Yeah, so I spent 10 years in ag retail, working with farmers, selling seed, chemical, and fertilizer. And after about 10 years and having a wife and kids, I decided to kind of start looking for something different. And this popped up for a job as a conservation agronomist for the Iowa Soybean Association. And the first person I turned to to ask about this position was my neighbor, no-till Tom Oswald. And he was a past president of the Iowa Soybean Association. And so I asked him a little bit about it, and he said, you know, I think you would be a good fit for that. And he said, I think it would really change your perspective on agriculture and really broaden your perspective as well of what agriculture looks like. And boy, was that true. So I applied and got the job 4 years ago as a conservation agronomist. And so I've been working with farmers trying to promote no-till, strip-till, cover crops, edge of field practices. And then I've also farmed as well. And so I implement that on my own farm, no-till, strip-till, and cover crops. And so, yeah, I farm in Cherokee County alongside my dad and brother. And yeah, it's been a good transition for me.
Absolutely. And you can utilize some of the data and insights that you learn as part of being a conservation agronomist on your own operation and apply that back as well to what we know about producing high-yielding soybeans and, of course, increasing ROI, reducing the input costs, making things more efficient, all of these things. Corey, I would imagine, and we'll talk about this coming up, those are all considerations. But first of all, tell us about your operation there in O'Brien County, what commodities you produce and how you kind of got involved.
Yeah, we're doing corn and soybeans. It's me and my dad as our operation, and then I do custom for other people as well. And that's kind of neat, seeing other people's practices and blending and yeah, get to see how they work and compare them to mine. And
what do you enjoy about the operation? What do you enjoy about production agriculture?
Well, from my side, I like that. I mean, I can do something, basically a different job every month or something. I mean, you live in the planter, and then I live in the sprayer all summer, and then I live in the combine, and at least I'm not doing the same job constantly.
Mm-hmm. It's always a different challenge every day, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, then I do dirt work and stuff too. So we got all that blended in throughout the year and
Custom and hangers.
do quite a bit of ammonia and
Keep yourself busy, it sounds like.
yeah.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite?
I don't, it's hard. I really like doing ammonia, which is the weirdest thing. So we go like last year I did 1 million pounds of N in 10 days.
Wow.
So the tractor shut off twice. We go hard getting that done, and it's just so weird because that's like the last thing of the year. That's actually my like my wind down time. Like I don't know how it works, but it's actually more calming. And the year is pretty much done. You got all your crops in, you know what you yielded, and so it's like my wind down time at the end of the year.
And we'll have a link to the full video right up here with a card that'll take you to see the whole Pods of Potential episode. And you can also find that online at iowaagnet.com. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we talk with Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. And of course, at the end of the trading day, talking with Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. I know grains got off to a pretty rough start here today. How did they end up the day?
Well, they ended up pretty much the same. Stayed under pressure all day long. Some of the pressure was due to better rains happening in Brazil, Argentina, and a 2-week forecast for continuation of those rains. Safras and Macedo estimate corn plantings now at 63% complete, up 10% from the previous week, and soybeans at 36%, up 19% for the week. So things are moving along. So some of the concern that we have seen earlier has really been falling away as far as Brazil is concerned at this point in time. Some of the other pressure was because of some of the outside markets. Crude oil was down over $4. That always seems to have an impact on the grain markets, and that was because Israel didn't bomb some of the infrastructure, the oil infrastructure over the weekend, so that took some of the support out of that market. So the outside markets also had some impact on that. Now, export inspections, corn was at 823,672 metric ton. That was within the range. Soybeans at 2.393 million bushels, or million metric ton, I should say. That was toward the top end of the range, so that was all fairly neutral. The wheat was in the range at 248,533 metric tons, so not a lot coming through there, either really bullish or bearish. We did have some overnight export sales of corn, 124,000 metric ton to Japan and 120,000 to unknown. So we continue to see some corn export business being done, but it may keep corn in a range. But today, with some of the pressure from the other grains markets, just kept corn under pressure. We did see wheat down about 10 cents as well. So today we're going to see initial crop condition estimates for winter wheat. The expectations are for 47% good to excellent. We're looking also for soybean harvest at 91% complete and corn harvest at 80% complete. So we're moving along on the soybeans. Corn's moving along at a rapid pace as well. There is some rain that's in the forecast coming through maybe later this week, so that might slow down some of the wrapping up of that. Now, the other thing we did see is that on the Commitment of Traders report, the funds continue to reduce their net short corn positions, but they're adding to their soybean short positions. So that creates an interesting dynamic that will play out over time.
All right, then moving over to the livestock side of things, I know they both have been following the consumer demand quite well here, and things haven't been necessarily what we expected in this economic time. And what did we see out of those markets today?
Well, today we did see actually a little bit of pressure on the livestock markets initially, which was anticipated because of the cattle on feed report. Now, cattle on feed on October 1st were 100%. With the estimates at 99.7, placements in September at 98%. They were estimating 95.6 as an average, so that was a little negative on that side. Marketing's at 102%, right in line at 102.2% estimated. Now, you look at the placement number, And generally, the trade will react to how they fall on each side of the estimates. And that's what they did initially. But I think as time moved on through the day, the realization that cattle on or placement number was 2% below a year ago, that continues to provide some support to the market. Now, last week we had cattle traded higher in both the north and the south. So that was a positive support under that market. And box beef today at midday was mixed. Choice was up 237, select down 66 cents. So we're continuing to see some good support underneath that market. Now the futures are bumping up against resistance level, technical resistance. So that's going to be a key area that if they can push above that, we might see some renewed buying interest coming into that cattle market. On the hog standpoint, we saw bull spreading again taking place today, closer months being significantly higher than later months. Cash was not available at the midday just because there were such limited volume of head traded, but cutouts were really a surprise, up $4.05 at the midday report. And we saw some real strength in the loin prices. So that's indicating some strong consumer demand is continuing. And I'm anticipating that the cash price is going to be higher as well. We did see cash up on Friday, which a lot of times isn't really usual, but the packers just needed to step in and continue to buy because they've got stronger slaughter pace and they need to step up, and they've got good packer margins as well. Now, the commitment to traders report that was released showed the managed money, the fund traders, they increased their long positions again last week. They're within 3,518 contracts of record longs that they had in September of 2013. So it'll be interesting to see with this kind of strength under the market, we may be able to close that gap next week and actually set another record as far as the long positions the funds hold. So we're really focusing on the hog market of the good consumer demand that's under there. We might see continuation of that strong consumer demand, and that's going to really provide some continued support to the hog market.
All right, Robin. Well, folks want to talk about some of their marketing strategies. What's the best way for them to get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net?
They can call me directly at 877-256-3253, or they can go to our website, agmarket.net. There's an 844 number there. They can feel free to call in and talk with somebody.
All right. Well, Robin, thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Thank you and take care.
That again was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen. At the close, December corn down 4.5 at 410 3/4. November beans down 13 3/4 at 9.74 even. Soybean meal down $1 at 304.80 per ton. Soy oil down $1.46 at 42.69. Chicago wheat down 10 1/4 at 5.58 3/4. Kansas wheat down 10 1/2 at 5.61 1/2. We weren't able to get a final number from the Minneapolis Wheat Exchange by press time. The latest update we had was 10 1/4 lower at 5.95. Oats down 1/2 cent at 3.79 3/4. Live cattle up at 12 cents at 189.27. Feeders up 62 cents at 249.20. Lean hogs up 95 cents at 80.62. Pork cutouts up 65 cents at 92.50. Class 3 milk up 16 cents at 20.20. And that's been our ag market recap, and that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com, including replays of the Iowa Ag Matters program, this last weekend's episode of Weekend Ag Matters, and much more. Again, iowaagnet.com. Follow us on Facebook, X, and on our LinkedIn and YouTube programs. You can click the bell icon and be notified each time we put out a new video project. Also, don't forget about the free market analysis we send 3 times a day right to your mobile device through the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network Market Podcast, openings, middays, and closings each and every trading day. From the iARN Studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Andy Peterson, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.